Oh man. All right. So Salakia, I just found out that there's no audio. I hit the button, to let it go, but I guess it when I set it up again, it kind of hit on it. So now we're good to go. Salakia for that. I'll start off by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is I have kept. I'm sorry, not I have kept them in that name. That was the last one. It says the great shift is coming. And before I go to explaining how it came by inspiration, which I already did, we've been in 5 minutes and there's no sound, but that's all right. Um, I got to remember just to ask, if the sound is playing, so that way we don't have to repeat this again. And like I said, Satan's been um, hindering the lessons, trying to hinder this. And pretty much all morning he's been fucking with me hard, but the show must go on, baby. So the great shift is coming. I didn't have a lesson early. I was just gonna go live. I was in the spirit to go live, but everywhere I went, there were problems. The normal place I go to, they moved the bench. So um, where they moved the bench to, when I went to, I've been meaning to do it anyway. So I bought me a chair and a little table, to just do my lessons. Whenever, wherever I don't have to worry about looking for no benches anymore. So Barak Tehal by Malshai for that. But the inspiration for this lesson comes through a video I was watching, the brother Yashalom from the New York camp. And he brought out an article as to where out there in LA, which is going to be worldwide, they are demanding proof of Vicky's venom, before you can actually uh, go to the grocery store and purchase your goods, which shows you that this is a prelude to this whole beast system and the charagma that's going to be placed in. They're trying to place it on every human being in the world, to make a perfect slave, as we've been going over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, prior to YouTube, during YouTube, and even to this very day. So Barakatah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai for that. And pretty much the great shift, what came to mind was the word shift as the brother was going into the lesson. And then after that, the title came, The Great Shift is Coming. And I looked up the word shift, which I already read the definition, but it didn't catch on the, what you call it. So I looked up the word shift. There's two definitions. I'm more concerned with the second one, but I'll read the first one. Number one, an event in which something is displaced without rotation. And number two, a qualitative change. And that's exactly what's coming, a qualitative change. There's some synonyms to it, which are transformation and transmutation. Transformation is a cross form, and transmutation is a cross change. And that's pretty much what's happening, because everything is being changed over to a digital base. And digital base means everything will be online. And I looked up the word digital. It says displaying numbers rather than scale positions, digital clock, digital readout. Then it says relating to or perform with the fingers of a circuit or device that represents magnitudes and digits. And pretty much it's just a fancy way of saying that everything is going to be brought online, because it's easier to control things when everything is centralized, through computations, which is pretty much as, you know, at the stroke of a button, you can pull up all different type of information, and that's why they've been pushing hard on this merging of man with machine, because everything they want to centralize everything on the web, and the word web, is where you get like the spider's web, which is something that entangles you in it. And on the back of the dollar bill, as a matter of fact, unbeknownst to many out there, on the back of a dollar bill, you see, like around the outskirts of the dollar, there's a bunch of webs there. And then right alongside the pyramid, on the outside of the circle of the pyramid, right about there, you have something called, the Italian horn, you know, or Satan's horn, which means that you trust in Satan for your finances, so on and so forth. You see a lot of Italian individuals wearing that horn. Well, this is the web, and it's done to trap you. And pretty much what they're doing is they're trying to get everything to go online to make it more difficult for people that do not want to be a part of the system, to operate. And that's pretty much what it is, a closing out of the people that do not want to cooperate. So instead of getting physical at first, they want to get to the point where they make it as difficult as possible so that the majority of the people that resist will comply. And eventually a lot of people will, like you seen Captain Cleanup do, as you seen that individual from the military that was on TikTok. And I'm pretty sure he was talking shit about the thing prior to them mandating it to go down like that, and now that he's being threatened with jail time and a cut in pay, he's not with that anymore. He's going to take Vicky's venom. But anyway, all of this stuff that's happening in this shift to the digital age is pretty much all because of the technology that Esau has out here, which when we read Daniel, the 12th chapter, and the 4th verse, it says, "But thou, O Daniel, shut up the words and seal the book." The book is talking about the Bible, the words of the Bible, the words of this book. So we're at the time of the end. So we know that at the time of the end, these words in this book would be open and revealed to the prophets, right? So it says, "Even to the time of the end, many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." And we're seeing the knowledge being increased today around the world, especially when it comes to digital things. They went from, we've mentioned this before, they went from these big, gigantic computers that no one can carry to smaller computers, which they call PCs or personal computers, to your tablets, to your, or should I say, to your laptops, to your tablets, and finally to your smartphones, and they've made, the technology smaller, which they have something called nanotechnology, so as the time of this man's society comes to a close, the technology becomes smaller and smaller and able to hold more and more information. Why is that? Because everything is being moved to a centralized digital age. And this is what we're witnessing right now. Because this beast system will not work if people can be independent. They want everybody to be dependent on the government, which pretty much means dependent on the international banking families for everything. Therefore, they can control and manipulate people more. That's why it says in second Ezra 16 and 69, "And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot." Why? Because those that comply eventually are going to feel the sting. See, they're thinking that by agreeing with this devil and subjecting themselves to his will and to his mandates, that's going to make their life easier, which it will for a little bit of time. Oh boy. Oh boy. Somebody's talking shit already, huh? Anyways, they think that by complying with it, that they'll make their life easier, which it will for a little while, but eventually it's going to turn around and sting you. Because once they don't need you, this has been done over and over again. We've mentioned this many times. Ask the Gadite scouts that helped take down their brothers, the so-called North American Indians, the Gadites. You know, once Esau didn't need them, what happened? They threw them right in the same reservation camps and gave them the same treatment that they fought so valiantly to break the power of their brothers, the other Gadites. You know, and what did they do? They threw them right in the same dirty ass reservation camps as they threw the rest of the Gadites in. They treated them the same exact way because to them, you're nothing but a tonto. If you help them, they'll give you all kind of laud and praise. But once they don't need you, they discard you. That's why it says in Psalms, first let's get Psalms. Let me hold on to this so I don't forget it. Boom. And then let me get the one in the Apocrypha, which is Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12 and 10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. It says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. You know, so in other words, you don't take your eyes off of this devil, because this devil is very treacherous. Before we read on, let's go to Psalms 55 and 19. The Most High shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, Selah, because they have no changes, therefore they fear not the Most High. Yeah, because they're continuously, you know, prospering. That's why they have no fear of the Most High. But the Most High got them in a trick bag. He put them in slippery places, as Asaph said. He hath put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. See? So even if you extend your hand out as a peace to this devil, their what's the word I'm looking for? Their integrity is not there. They're the devil. It says, he has put forth his hands against such as be at peace with him. He hath broken his covenant. Yeah. So that's why a lot of those Gadites ended up where? They ended up right on the same reservation camps that of their own people that they helped put there. See? So you can't trust these devils, because these devils are not going to uphold their words. The Lord already told us that. But you guys, you don't learn. You don't learn from the scriptures. You don't learn from history. You don't learn from just in the amount of time this devil's been in America and the things that he's done. You don't learn from that. You know, you continuously follow down that path, you know, of destruction, you know, with this devil. But that's all right, because you're going to be taken in those same traps that these devils are setting up for other people. Or you thinking that you are part of the team, you're going to fall right into them same traps. That's why it says, they that consent unto them shall be had in derision. So it goes on to say in Psalms 55 and 21, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, yet, the words of his heart were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords. So pretty much they had kind words to say, so-called humble words, so-called beneficial words to the poor, to the Israelites, but really it was all in deceit. That's why when we read again in Ecclesiasticus 12 and 10, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So you best believe, if you take iron and you polish it and you get rid of the rust, that rust is going to come back. So just like that rust is going to come back and be upon iron, so is this devil's wickedness. Although he covers it up with smiles, you know, with kind words, you know, with fair speeches, don't trust him, because he ain't going to change. Can the leopard change his spots? Then may you do good which are accustomed to doing evil. So if you are created to be the wicked, how can you do good? If you are created to be the wicked, one of your greatest assets is what? Deceit. And that deceit is used to catch a lot of these Israelites out here off guard. And you don't go out there and do it yourself. You have other Israelites set up, to deceive the Israelites, to pacify them, as you've always done. You've used Jake leaders, whether they're so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native American Indians, to pacify the rest of them. But then you turn around and do the very same things you say you're not going to do. And those leaders, if they don't comply with you, or if you don't need them anymore, you discard them. It's happened many, many times, but a lot of you guys still don't learn from that. So it goes on to say, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. So the scriptures direct us on what to do with our enemies. And we know that the main enemy of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, are the Edomites. And we know that out of all nations on the planet Earth, the so-called white race, they call themselves white. They're not white. They're really red. Those people have been the greatest enemy to the nation of Israel. They've done nothing good for us, Now, in contrast, you do have Israelites that look like them. So there's a distinction there, and we're the only group that really teaches that. Great Millstone's the only group that really teaches that you're going to have Edomite-looking people that are really Israelites. But that's another subject. It says, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, because you're looking at the mirror, and you can't take your eyes off of that devil. You got to be on him like flies on shit, like white on rice. You can't take them off out of your sight. It says, and thou shalt know that his rust hath not been altogether wiped away. Why? Because you're going to observe him. He's going to say certain things, but he's the wicked. So eventually he's going to do the opposite of what he says. So it says, set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. What happened with Haman, the Edomite? He did the same thing to the Persians. He was trying to remove the Persians and set up the Edomites in their stead, which happened later on in the history with Alexander the Great, but at that time it didn't. It says, and thou at the last remember my words and be pricked therewith. Like, damn, I should have never trusted this goddamn devil. What the hell is my problem? And the thing about it with Jake out here, Jake doesn't have an excuse. We're out there teaching, bringing it out of the scriptures, and history tells you what these devils have done. The Tuskegee experiment down there in Guatemala, when they injected those Israelites down there with syphilis. The things that they did, that they've done in the land of Ham and around the world, where they go to these different nations and inject them, with these different venoms, and all of a sudden people start getting cancer, people start getting venereal diseases. They had a clean bill of health, and all of a sudden they all effed up. Why is that? Because the devil that's ruling is just that, the devil. And you're trusting in the devil that has been devilish. You know what I'm saying? For lack of better words. And that's all that they've done, is destroy. That's all that they're good for. That's all that they were created for. There's a reason why they're called the wicked. Why do you think they're called the wicked? They're called the wicked because they're just that. They're evil. They're evil personified. They're the devil. So why would you trust the devil, to help you when the devil was set up to destroy you? And the scriptures give us the instructions on what to do. So it goes on to say, who will pity a charmer that is bitten with a serpent, or any such as come nigh wild beasts? Yeah. So if you play around with a wild animal and you get mauled, people are not going to be like, oh, that was such a travesty, such a tragedy. They're going to be like, good for his ass. He shouldn't have been fucking with that goddamn bear or with that lion. So same thing, those of you out there that are fraternizing with these devils, when you get, fucked over excuse my medieval French, then good for your ass. Because nobody's going to pity your ass. Because you've been warned. That's what the Lord said. When all hell starts breaking loose and you start crying to the Lord, you know what's going to happen. The Lord's going to mock you. He ain't going to help. He's going to mock you because you should have took heed and got involved when you had the opportunity. Because there's going to come a point where the doors of mercy are going to be totally closed. And once those doors of mercy are totally closed and Jacob's trouble is in full bloom, there's going to be problems out here. You know, and then you have these clowns that call us fear mongers, that we're false prophets because we're fear mongering. You know, that it's all about brotherly love and this, that, and the other. It's not about brotherly. Look around you, damn idiot. Look around the world. Look at the things that are going on around the world. Look at the shit that this devil is doing. Are you that fucking blind? Are you that plantationalized in this plantation Christianity that you can't see that? Obviously you are. You know, the scriptures speak about the fear of the Lord. The scriptures say, you know, it is a fearful thing to fall in the hands of the living power. So if the Lord put the spirit on us to warn you, to get yourself together because all hell is about to break loose, then and the scriptures say that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. What the fuck are you talking about? We fear mongering. We're not selling fear. We're telling you like it is. And we're letting you know that if you don't get yourself together, the Lord's going to destroy your ass. Bottom line. But you're still going to have those clowns. Oh, you fear mongering. Yeah, you know what? Then so be it. If we're fear mongering, so be it. If it gets the message across, you know, and it helps save certain Israelites, beautiful. Then we'll just be that. We'll be that. We'll be fear mongers. You know, because the scriptures say that they that win souls are wise. You know, so by whatever way the Lord has the men of the Lord win souls over, so be it. Verse 14, so one that goeth to a sinner and is defiled with him in his sins, who will pity? Yeah. And these devils are the top sinners on the planet Earth. You know, they're the son of perdition. No, they're the what's the word I'm looking for? The quintessential devils of wickedness. You know, and eventually they're going to be destroyed. You know, they gotta serve captivity first, and then after they serve their captivity, they're gonna be destroyed. You know, they're gonna be destroyed. Bottom line. Let's see, is there any more here? Right, it says, for a while he will abide with thee, but if thou begin to fall, he will not tarry. An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips, but in his heart he imagineth how to throw thee into a pit. And the whole thing is, they got these, you know, your excuse my well, not vulgarity, because vulgar just means public, you know, but excuse my, you know, profanity, which that's not even proper, but excuse the words that I'm about to say, you know, because it's gonna be gross, but I have to say it. They got these Jake men and women out here. Your come all over her Harris, you know, and other clowns out here, whether they be politicians or whether they be religious leaders or whatever the case that they may be, you know, putting you Jakes to sleep and keeping you asleep. And that's how they're pacifying you. But the consensus is that there's something very terrible about to go down. They have an agenda. And in this agenda, you know, they plan on reducing the population of the earth. You have something called the Georgia Guidestones. The Georgia Guidestones, you know, are 10 demonic commandments of the elite. And the very first one is maintain humanity under 500 million in perfect balance with nature. Right now, there's almost 8 billion people. So that means that they plan on destroying at least close to 7.5 billion people. Do you know how many people that is? And this devil killed Gates. He already said that. That they, if they do a really good job, with them jabs, that they can reduce everything by, I forgot the percentage. But you have to remember, if you're dealing with even 5% or 15% of billions of people, that's a big large number, depending on what the percentage is. And that's why it says that if the Lord don't cut those days short, there shall no flesh be left to be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Because they're pushing this on every level, man. Every facet of society. Every breath you take, every move you make. Inside joke, but it's true. Every breath you take, every sip of water that you take, you think you're drinking good water. There's all type of bullshit in there. You think you're eating organic foods and that's good, for you, which is supposed to be better for you. That shit is tainted, because the Lord said that we would eat our bread defiled among the Gentiles. And who says that that's really organic? The FDA, Food and Drug Administration, which was an actual chemical company when they first started, who were put in a position to be federally recognized, so that they can push some of these chemicals into people's foods. Come on, man. It says, but if he find opportunity, he will not be satisfied with blood. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. He will shake his head and clap his hands and whisper much and change his countenance. Yeah, because then you're gonna realize that, damn, this devil he really is the devil. No shit, Sherlock. We've been telling you that for how long? Through the scriptures, through the power and spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But no, you don't want to hear us. If Esau don't say it, it can't be right. When somebody that looks like you tells you the truth, nah, that's a conspiracy theory. It ain't until the devil tells you that people start to accept it. Now that you have a lot of Edomites coming out speaking about, their charagma, now people are starting to believe it because Esau's saying it. And then all this information that's coming out, like I've been saying, you're gonna have Israelites out there, that's gonna be the experts at it now. But that's all right, because as the Apostle Paul said, whether in pretense or in sincerity, Yahweh Shai is preached, and I will rejoice, and I'll rejoice also, because the truth is going out, regardless of if it's in sincerity or if it's in pretense. All right. So the great shift is coming, and we see it happening on the planet Earth. This technology, is getting greater and greater. The vehicles of that this technology travels through is becoming smaller and smaller through something called nanotechnology, and regardless of regardless of what it looks like, what the technology looks like, it's all a part of the same system. So it's all a part of, as the brother said, the Ma, Ah, Ra, Ka. And if you spell that out in the Hebrew, but use it in the English, then you'll get what it's talking about, the charagma. And that's what it's all about. And this is why the Spirit has had us pushing this, beginning with Elder Apostle Tars, and pushing this thing so much, because this is what we're at. When you're not going to be prophesying about the flood when the flood already happened. We'll speak about the flood from time to time, but that already happened. We use that as an example of what happens when people are disobedient to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. But now that we're in the midst of a super prophecy coming to pass, that's going to usher in the end of the world, you goddamn right we're going to speak about it. We're going to speak about it until, as they say, ad nauseum, till you're nauseous of it. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be known who the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai are. And they're not going to hold their peace. They're not going to stop teaching, until the Lord said that's enough. So whoever the men of the Lord are, they're going to keep pushing this word. They're going to keep pushing about the charagma. They're going to keep pushing about the technology that's happening around the world and the reason why it's happening, and tie it back into the scriptures of Revelation 13 chapter, so on and so forth. Because it's very important to know, it's very important to avoid, because those that take it are going to be destroyed. Matter of fact, let's get there real quick. See, these jakes out here think this is a game, and they got the people out there confused. The scriptures speak about making up the hedge for the nation of Israel to be prepared in the day of the Lord. But those of you that are confused, you're going to stay confused, because you're the same individuals that bounce from camp to camp. You're the same individuals that bounce from, Kemet to plantation Christianity to the Jehovah Witness. You watch these Edomite programs. You watch everything and anything, that claims to have knowledge. You watch that, and then you're wondering why you're so confused. But that's all right, because you're gonna die in your ignorance. How about that? This is the book of Revelation chapter 14 verse 8. And there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. She's been pushing these philosophies of hers upon the world, their value, their so-called values, which are not really values, but for lack of better words, their democracy, their their venom, their ways and everything. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his right hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So when the Lord comes back, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, his name is Yahushua in the Hebrew, those people that have taken that mark, they're going to be destroyed, because they don't understand what the Heavenly Father is speaking about, neither do they care. For a long time, this big deception, has been pushed around the world, that the Heavenly Father and his Son are so-called white people. Their images are not images of a white man. Their images are images of a so-called black man. And the Bible tells you that they had woolly hair, that his feet were as a burnt bronze. But yet they'll paint this picture up and make the world want to accept that. They've been pushing that image down people's throats so much that if you say different, people want to fight you, because that's been ingrained in their mind. And the scriptures speak about the great deception that would take place on the planet Earth with that image. See? The scriptures also say the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. Who can be a greater judge than the Heavenly Father and his Son? So if it says that they covered the faces of the judges, how did they do that? By putting their face up. It also says that the heathen sought to paint the likeness of their images in the books of the law. So come on, man. Any way you slice it. And that's why you have these devils like Vocab Malone and others like that, and even Jake's helping them, to put the lid on this so that they can keep that lie going of this white supremacy and this whole, lie of this image that they put out there. You see? So that's why, we see everything going the way it's going, because there's an agenda. And there is a great reset. There's going to be a great reset, but that great reset is really going to come when Yahushua comes back. And they want to get rid of all um, all this cash out here because they want to bring in a one currency system, and that one currency system will not operate or work unless it can get everything online and have everything tracked. And that's what everything is about being like the Most High. Because the Heavenly Father knows where everybody's at. He knows everybody's spirit because everybody's spirit is a part of Him. So what they're trying to do, because they know that a spirit is nothing but energy, it's fire. So when they put these substances into people's bodies, as well as that charagma, that's going to be a link to the system, to this centralized system worldwide, to be able to track everybody. That's what it's all about. They paint it as a benevolent thing, or where your elderly people, they're elderly and they get dementia, they get Parkinson's, they get whatever, and then if they have this in them, they'll be able to be tracked. If they're found, they don't remember their name, they could be scanned and then say, okay, they're allergic to this, they're allergic to that, they should be taking their medication at this time, so on and so forth. They live here, Oh, and your children, how there's been so many kidnappings and Amber Alerts, your children will be protected because it'll be like having OnStar on your children. So they paint it as a benevolent thing, but really it's leading to destruction. Because going back to Revelation 14 and 10, it says, the same shall drink, the ones that take the image, the ones that worship the image and take the mark. It says, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So you're going to be destroyed. Bottom line. So it doesn't make sense for these so-called camp leaders and these different leaders around the world, of Israel, to be pushing for you to be taking anything from the jab to the charagma, anything from this devil, because it's going to lead to your destruction. And once you do that, that seals your fate. Now, the scripture said that the only sin that you can't repent of is the sin of blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. But the Lord said that once you take that mark, that's it. Now, can you take it and then pull it back out, and then the Lord can forgive you? That could be plausible. But as Elder Pastor said, I don't want to try that theory. I'm not trying to try that theory, because that pretty much what you're doing is you're tempting the Lord. So you individuals out there, man, you leaders out there, the scriptures say the love of money is the root of all evil. A lot of you sold out, man. For you to be spewing out that venom that's coming out of from between them funky ass teeth of yours and that funky ass mouth of yours, you sold out, man. A lot of you have no integrity. The scriptures say that the love of money is the root of all evil. Matter of fact, let me finish out with that, because that says a whole lot. And the Most High is going to get every last one of you, man. He's going to get every last one of you that sold out. This is 1 Timothy 6:8. And having food and raiment, let us be there with content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition. Yeah, because in order to get these riches, you have to do things. It says, for the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Yeah, because that's what's going to happen. Eventually, you're going to be destroyed. Why do you think when these celebrities sell out, right, and then they have a change of heart, what do you see happen to them? They become bugged out. They look for whatever to be able to escape reality. A lot of them, turn to liquor. A lot of them turn to drugs, because they're trying to escape that reality that they sold out. And then they try to turn against the hand that feeds them, because they thinking that if they expose them, then somehow that's going to lessen, the punishment that they're going to get. And what happens? They say, oh, this person is crazy. Look how bugged out they are. And they'll show the person. They'll put them in one of them loony bins. He was arrested for so and so. He was arrested for smoking crack. He was arrested for impersonating a federal officer. He killed himself by way of suicide. And you pierce yourself through with many sorrows. Yahweh Shai said, what can a man give in exchange for his soul? Once you sell your soul, that's it. There's nothing you could give in exchange for that. So that's why you pierce yourself through with many sorrows, which shows you that you really never were grounded if you turn around and sell out to this devil. Knowing that this man is going to be destroyed, knowing that this man is a devil. And that's why that woman was cursing you out. That's why that woman was cursing you out and telling you, look, I followed you guys. You told us that the white man is a devil, that he did this, that, and the other. So why did you take the thing, and you trying to get us to take it? Ain't that against the law? Ain't that against the scriptures? And then you had Captain Cleanup and Katazat, the cleanup, the other cleanup man, coming to you and saying all kind of bullshit that's spewing out their mouth, because they never really use the scriptures. I mean, they do sometimes. They go into the scriptures, but sometimes when they start spewing their madness, they just start talking shit. And they're trying to convince the people that it's all right for you to take that. But when this devil, he's done nothing but destroy. What the fuck has he done good to help Jake? Now all of a sudden he's this benevolent individual that's trying to help Jake with this serum that's going to save your life if you take it. And now they're making it harder for everybody that's avoiding it, so that they can take it, when it's supposedly still in its experimental stages. Never trust thine enemies. Never trust thine enemy. Never trust thine enemy. And you leaders out there, man, that are sold out, the Lord's going to destroy every last one of you, man. And there's much more that can be said about it. But the great shift is coming. That's why we see everything being digitalized, everything going online. This is why they shut things down and push this 5G around the world. Even when you look around here, you see the 5G, wiring or whatever you call that, all around, because they need that technology in order to make everything work. Knowledge shall increase. And if everything is going online, everything has to work properly. You can't be like you're doing a live lesson and riding down the street and all of a sudden the information drops for a certain period of time. Then all of a sudden, after a certain period of time, maybe like 30 seconds later, come back on. No, they got to have it working all around the clock, everywhere you go. That's why the world is turning into a big surveillance, a surveillance world. You have cameras everywhere. They say it's for security. No, it's for watching you, because they want to be like the Most High. They want to see everything that everybody does in every crevice of the world, no matter where it's at, even underground. That's what they're pushing. The scripture said that they shall be as a leopard in the cities. If you know the nature of a leopard will move stealthily in the daylight among other animals, and they will never even detect him. And he always has his eyes on everything. That's what the scripture says. He shall be as a leopard in the streets. If you ever watched a documentary on leopards, that's how they move. They move in stealth, and they move undetected. Other animals have no clue that they're there. That's the nature of a leopard. And that's the nature of these police, dealing with these different, when I say police, I'm not just talking about your city police or municipalities. I'm talking about the ones that police everything, from your troops, from your FEMA troops, and all of that. And that's what they do. They have eyes everywhere. That's why they have the drones. You know, drones are also set up for what? Surveillance. And they showed you in the last purge, the one prior to this forever purge, how that those same drones have weapons in them that they could take people out. Oh, that's just a movie. See, here you go with the movies. All right, you keep ridiculing. You keep being a mocker. You keep being a scoffer. And when you find yourself in a situation that we've been warning you of, that to avoid, then you're gonna be like, damn, I should have listened. Yeah, just like Elijah told that one individual when he said, "Yep, today so and so is gonna." In other words, today people were gonna eat, and he didn't believe him. And what did he say? He said, "Well, you're gonna see it, but you're not gonna taste of it." In so many words. And what happened when it happened? When the food was there, the people trampled him, and he died. That's the same thing that's gonna happen to a lot of you guys as scoffers. You're scoffing about this stuff, but it's gonna hit you right in the face. It's gonna hit you. Reality's gonna hit you, and there's not gonna be a thing that you could do about it. It's coming down to the wire, man. The great shift is coming. We read the word shift. I read it again. And I really don't like this spot. It's too, shift. It says a qualitative change. So there's going to be a change. A change is going to come. This what we see going on right now is not going to stay the same all the time. It's going to change. That event of 9/11 changed the whole world forever. So these things that are coming are going to change everything. You ain't going to get back to that normalcy that you had before. How do we know that? Well, all of a sudden now everything was being cool. Now everything's going back on lockdown. I went into this store yesterday and said, "Oh, do you have a mask?" I said, "No." He said, "We could get." I said, "No, that's all right." And I walked out. You know? I mean, I'm not saying that you do. If you need to go to the store right now, wear the mask. You know what I'm saying? But eventually, that's going to lean into the video that the brother did, to where if you don't have, proof that you've been hit, then you're not going to be able to buy groceries. You're not going to be able to go in different stores, because they started off broad. You won't be able to go to the movies. You won't be able to go to concerts and all that, which not everybody goes to that. But then they start locking it down. You can't go to, get food. You can't get. That's when people will be like, "Oh, wait a minute." You see? So the great shift is coming. It's here, but the actual shift is going to come. It's almost it's here, but it's going to intensify. So with that, I pray that you brothers have been and you few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom.